7 thrones, 7 wizards. But long ago, we chose a champion. And we chose recklessly. He used his power for revenge, releasing the 7 deadly sins into your world.
Guys, there's 6 of us and there's 7 thrones. Who's that for?
Well, whoever it is, I'm gonna love them no matter what, because they're an automatic part of the family.
What in God's name?
I named the gods, Doctor, not the other way around. Oh, what fun we're going to have together. The 7 realms are about to be ours.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We finally have an idea what's going on with the Black Adam movie, so we'll break that down. I know a lot of you are also wondering, because of the Joker movie, if it's going to be a little more hardcore because we have the new idea of DC Black Label and R-rated DC films. We're doing a movie ticket giveaway for Joker. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your best Black Adam theory on the video. Most of you probably had a chance to see the Shazam movie by now. There are a couple moments during the movie where they very clearly talk about the character, then a couple that just hint at him, and then a couple of deleted scenes that deal with him that they cut out of the movie. The Rock himself is actually a producer on the Shazam franchise. The reason why that is because originally they went to him and cast him as Black Adam before they cast Zachary Levi as Shazam. So they actually started the franchise with the idea of Black Adam being the big character, not Shazam. His production company was the ones that started working on the movie, but when they were working on the script, they decided that there was way too much backstory to set up for both Black Adam and Shazam, so that's when they separated them into 2 completely different movies, and that's why you have a Black Adam movie now coming out after the Shazam movie, and why they cut a lot of him out of the film. That they changed his backstory a little bit, like that first scene where the wizard is explaining how they gave him his powers 5,000 years ago in Kahndaq. He turned on them in revenge and released the 7 deadly sins on man. That's a big change to his comic book backstory, but it's all in service of making him more of a villain when he debuts, a tragic villain, that he slowly becomes more of an anti-hero through the course of his actions in the Black Adam movie, which I'll explain in a second, because we finally found out what the story of the Black Adam movie is going to be. The Black Adam deleted scene of them all sitting on the thrones and Mary Marvel wondering who's supposed to sit on that 7th throne, and Darla talking about bringing them into the family no matter what, quote unquote, no matter how terrible they are, how many people they've killed, is more about setting up the Shazam side of their eventual crossover. Right now, the Black Adam movie is supposed to start shooting in May. They're still locking down their cast, but they pretty much have their story, and it is going to be a period movie. At least the version of the script that they have most recently is a period movie set in the 50s and 60s. The reason they're doing that is because they're using the Justice Society, sort of like the older version of the Justice League. If you've read comics, you kind of understand the dynamic between the Justice Society and the Justice League, but we haven't really seen that in the DC universe before. So when we hear that Hawkman, Stargirl, and Atom Smasher were supposed to be in the Black Adam movie, it explains a little bit more why you haven't seen those heroes in present day. Because this is sort of still keeping in the continuity set up by the Justice League movie, Batman v Superman, without completely rebooting everything. I know there's a lot of questions about the timeline now because a lot of the movies are separate. You have the Joker movie, which is DC Black Label and not connected to the DC universe. So some movies will be connected to the larger DC universe, some movies will not. The Black Adam movie, the Shazam movies are connected to the DC universe. The story of the Black Adam movie, though, is all about his quest to take back what he lost, his dead wife. So they're doing a version of his comic book backstory, Black Adam: The Dark Age, where he's being manipulated by Desaad. So obviously the movie's going to change that plot a little bit just to fit within their pre-existing continuity. But they're using it to explain why Black Adam broke bad and set him up as an anti-hero, meaning that other people, like Desaad, are manipulating him into breaking bad. So that he doesn't come off as quite an evil person, but does a lot of evil things until he learns that he's been manipulated this whole time. As for the whole Joker, DC Black Label, R-rated DC movie conversation of it all, I'm pretty sure that the Black Adam movie is going to wind up being PG-13 just so it can appeal to a broader audience. Pretty easy slam dunk for The Rock, who's this huge international star, to destroy Shazam's box office. But I just don't see him doing a rated R Black Adam film because they do want to connect this to the larger DC universe. So it's the films that aren't connected that get to be as dark, twisted, and hardcore as they want to be. That's one of the reasons why Warner Brothers allowed Todd Phillips to make an R-rated Joker film, because it wasn't connected to the other films. The Shazam post-credit scene is mostly setting up the idea of the next two Shazam movies, so the whole idea is that Mr. Mind is probably going to wind up being the ultimate big bad. He'll be a really big problem during Shazam 2. I'll talk about that in a second, because they're basically copying and pasting a lot of comic book stories that are happening right now in Rebirth with the 7 realms of magic, but also the idea that Mr. Mind, this small little alien insect, is going to be the bigger villain for Shazam than Black Adam will be. There's a massive Easter egg when they're all sitting on the thrones here and Darla is talking about bringing this mystery 7th person into the family. Zachary Levi revealed the whole plan for the Shazam franchise, including the Black Adam movies, is that Shazam 2 is meant to go deeper on the Shazamly because they really only teased that at the end of the film. You didn't really get a whole lot of time with the kids actually using their powers. You just got a little taste for that.
Go back one.
According to sources close to the scene, an armed man has taken people hostage on the 2nd floor of that building. The situation is considered active. Police say the man is wearing body armor and should be considered extremely dangerous. No injuries
I think we just found
reported
something
yet.
we can agree on.
We are following it closely, though.
We're gonna go play outside now, Mama Rosa.
About time someone listens to me. Stay warm, put your coats on.
Superman.
So the sequel is going to deal with that, broaden the idea of the 7 realms of magic and the larger threat that they have to deal with, their responsibilities as the new Council of Wizards. If you're not a big comic book reader, think about it like the Doctor Strange movie. What is his main job? Protecting the Earth from external threats from other dimensions. So the Shazam family does kind of the same thing, but they're meant to be the guardians of all magic. The Rock of Eternity is the source of all magic on planet Earth in an R dimension. The Rock of Eternity is a focal point for several different dimensions that sort of overlap. And one of those realms of the multiverse is the 7 realms of magic, which is sort of a sub-dimension that's just made up of magical creatures. Some of them good, some of them really bad. But the whole idea of the Shazam sequel is that it will create a whole lot of chaos in the 7 realms of magic that will then lead to the entry point of Black Adam. Like, things go from bad to worse when they eventually face off with Black Adam. An early prediction, based on Darla's language, bringing this person back into the family, they'll be forced to work with Black Adam to fix quote-unquote magic so that everything doesn't go to shit in the multiverse. But everybody, let me know in the comments what you think about the idea of them doing a Black Adam period film set during the 50s and 60s with the Justice Society, the proto version of the modern day Justice League. For those of you wondering about the other big movies like Justice League 2, the Green Lantern Corps movie, they just completed their contract with J.J. Abrams. He's now exclusive to Warner Brothers. He'll be developing quote-unquote other big projects for them with huge IP. I think that's code for him working on a big DC movie. He actually turned down $500 million from Apple to work with Warner Brothers for half the price. He only got a $250 million deal from them because of all the extra IP that Warner Brothers controls, and that includes all the DC movies. Early prediction, he'll probably go for a Green Lantern Corps movie in 2022 or 2023, around the time Marvel is ramping up for its Fantastic Four reboot. But I do think that if the Green Lantern Corps movie goes well with him, then they'll ask him to do their Justice League sequel. Then after that is probably when we would see the next Man of Steel movie. There was a bunch of Crisis on Infinite Earths news. I'll try to deal with that during my DC TV videos that are coming up. So if you have any big questions about that, just leave them in the comments below. Congratulations, Dank Raccoon. You're the giveaway winner from my last big DC video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. Click here for that mystery Batman teaser in Batman movie news, and click here for that Avengers Infinity Saga trailer video in the Marvel Phase 4 trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.